Hey guys, so today we're going to do something pretty fun. I have two classes this semester. My first one is my Maya class, which you can check out in my channel. I'm doing Introduction to Maya from the beginning all the way to rendering and uh, texturing and everything on that. And for this class, we're doing a bit of an advanced masterclass, which revolves around creating stylized assets for the game industry. And on this one, we're going to be doing this cup. I'm going to start with small little assets, and as the semester progresses, I'm going to be pretty much going for environments and indoors and actual stylized environments and buildings and stuff like that for game engines. So here we're going to learn how to take uh, a software like 3ds Max or Maya and create this stylized low polygon asset, then take it into Zbrush and properly detail it, and in the end texture it in Substance Painter, then take it back into 3ds Max or Maya and render it using Vray. So this is where the difference comes along with other artists, is that typically it's a very fast-paced tutorial, where here it's going to be a step-by-step tutorial. I'm going to be explaining as I work, how am I thinking, what am I thinking about, how am I going about it, and the small little mistakes that most people do typically when they start creating this kind of assets, and how to avoid them. So let's get right into it. This is the cup I'm going to be creating, so I have Max also loaded up here. And I'm going to start very quickly by creating, I'm thinking that most people that take this kind of course will already have the experience inside of 3D, so they know pretty much what they're doing. So I'm going to create a cup. First thing you have to understand is that the unit size has to be specific. So not exactly specific, just not into inches or millimeters, centimeters. And I have it at 1.0 centimeters, so that every single grid, so every single one of these squares is 10 centimeters in length, which is perfect. So what I'm going to do first is create the base, and you have to keep in mind that certain things have to be detached. So what do I mean by detached? So if I look at the object right here, this bottom piece, the metallic bottom piece, will be a single piece. So that will be separate from the body. Then the entire cylinder on the body will be one piece. This ring will be one piece. Every single little stud will be one piece. This is one piece, one piece. The wood here, one piece. All of these will be separated. And you have to do it this way. That's how the workflow will work for you. So let me just grab these, delete. I'm going to just add one more. And on the bottom, I'm just going to close it up. So what I like to do here is actually lift this up a little bit, shift click down, and scale in, just so I can keep that topology correct. And make sure you try to even out all of the polygons, even though we're going to turbo smooth before we go, maybe if we need to. We still need it to look good and have enough polygons to create what we're looking for. So when you're going to take this into ZBrush, you have to understand that you cannot have um, polygons that are too big or too small, and that's very important. Let me just redo this. There we go, perfectly centered. What do I mean by this? I mean, don't take polygons and put them like this and then take it into ZBrush. You need some subdivisions in the middle, or you're going to have very bad details, and you don't want that. So here I'm going to scale this up a little bit. Grab this. Scale in a bit, move up a bit. Scale back out. And I just created the bottom of the cup. So now I'm going to close this up. Just like so. That should be enough. And I'm going to create a new cylinder. Or what I can do here, actually, is select the same exact cylinder and then detach it. I can do that. There we go, so make sure you have enough subdivisions in the middle, just to keep everything equal. That should be enough. Perfect. Good, I'm gonna also grab these. Grow, and I'm gonna detach this entire piece. Detach, and I wanna make sure that the bottom piece has enough. So I'm gonna scale down a little bit more just so it can go into the cup. You won't see it, it's just for the peace of mind that everything will be set in order. So here we have, I need to lift up once. Small one again. So keep in mind what I'm doing here. Look at the topology, how I'm keeping all these edges together just so I can have a straight 90-degree angle, and I want those. I need those. And weld this all together. Perfect. So this is a little bit too tall, so I'm going to grab this. Scale it down just a little bit. There we go. And grab these polygons. So I'm going to grab a few here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be enough. And I'm just going to grow once. I took everything together. There we go, and these. Perfect, and I'm gonna extrude. Just like so. Let me just turbo smooth once, just to check how everything's looking out. Alright, looking good. Gonna make sure I can lift this up a little bit more. Alright, and it's a bit too tall still, so I'm gonna scale this down. Great. There we go. So now I'm gonna unwrap these first. I go methodically, so every time I finish modeling something, I like to actually unwrap it, just so I can have the peace of mind. So the bottom piece first, unwrap. Open the UV. I'm gonna grab the bottom piece. All the way here. Actually, one more would be fine. There we go, and this entire piece has to get seamed somewhere. It's already seamed, so I'm gonna also relax it. Go to edge angles, and again, polygon angles. Try to straighten out as much as possible. And this goes here. Next, we're gonna do the other one. So convert to editable poly. Let me just turbo smooth it real quick just to see how it's looking. Looking good, perfect. Next, this piece. UV unwrap. So what I'm gonna do first is remove this piece. Stop there. Break. Tools, relax. Perfect. Go there. Next, I'm gonna grab everything from the bottom. So let me isolate this. Grab all of these. And stop right here. Let's see, I can maybe go one more. Yeah, that'll be fine. Break, tool, relax, go all the way to 1, polygon angles, and do that. There it is. Next you have this piece. So this piece is going to be a bit more tricky. What we have to do is kind of separate a few elements. What you can do here, if you want to, is actually unfold it. So mapping, unfold, see if it works. Kinda did. Not really. So we're going to do tools, relax, see if that's going to straighten out a few things that we have as issues. It did not, so I'd rather just map and flatten map this entire thing. There we go. Put it right there. So what I'm going to do here is just select these. On this side only. This video might be a little bit long because we're doing the entire process once and for all, but you actually get the entire full experience of how to work on game and stylized actual objects, so it's gonna be fine. There we go. So I do want to group these up. Let me start looking at this one for an example. Grab this, put it here. There we go, so that's the inside of that piece. Next I would like to do the top. So let's see where these are. Okay, I'm gonna grow it once. That should be perfect if I'm not mistaken. Great, I'm gonna grab these and put them to the side. And do exactly the same thing I did. So Substance Painter doesn't really care how you're placing them. I mean, I could have kept them unfolded, but it's better if they are kind of following each other, so just so you can understand what you're painting. And we want to keep track of how the UVs are actually acting up. And I think the final piece, not yet. There we go. So I'm going to grab the entire thing and relax it just a little bit. There we go, just so it can straighten itself out. Great, fantastic. And I'm going to put this on the top. Then we have the final little pieces. So I need to grab this one. Yep. Oh. It's going to be a little bit tricky, so what we're going to do is keep these together. These are already together. These here. I just need them to be straight, so that's the key aspect here. I need them to be 90 degrees just like everything else. Just in case I put some wood or something on these, I want the grain to follow correctly on all of the UVs. And we put this here. Actually, we can put them inside of the actual circle. That's for later. Alright, so that's done. Converted to poly. So let's move forwards. What else do I have now? The middle actual struts here. So these are going to be cylinders. Like so. A little bit thicker. And I want I'm gonna add 3. Converted to poly, delete this, delete that. Grab this, just increase it a little bit, and grab these two and do the same as well, just to create a bit of a bounce. Awesome. Turbo smooth this just to see if it doesn't curl up too much. It does. We don't want that, so we're gonna chamfer these edges a little bit. Then extra edge. And turbo smooth. There we go. Better. So now we're going to unwrap this. Whatever you do, never copy an object without unwrapping it first. I know this is going to have the same exact texture as the bottom one, so just do it once and then copy it. Only if you know that it's going to have the same texture and the same material inside of the Substance Painter. Very crucial. If it's going to have something different, you have a different idea for it, then that's up to you. You can actually create a new one and unwrap it and put it next to the other one. Just straighten it out and put it on the bottom. Oh, what happened here? That's not okay. Sometimes Max creates like seams on its own. I don't know why. Even though the other side was perfect, but yeah, what are you gonna do about it? So convertible poly, and now I'm gonna do the struts. So these little, oops, sorry, these little things right here. So this is done and copied. I'm gonna put it on the bottom as well. And this one lifted up a little bit. Great. Now for the struts, so I'm gonna create a sphere. I'm gonna make sure it's not as high poly. 12, perfect. 12 works very well. Delete the bottom. And we're gonna increase this a little bit, like so. Unwrap it. So here I just like to pelt map it from my menu here. Start pelt, commit, and then relax it. Done. So the strut is gonna go here. Try to keep everything organized just for your sake of mind. And now I'm gonna just scale this down, attach it here, move it. Is this my back? Yeah, this is my back, it's the front. I prefer going for the front. There we go, and 90 degrees. I'm just gonna increase a little bit more the backside. There we go. Make sure I again unwrap it properly. Since I already added a few polygons, I need to increase and fix this. Tools, relax again, and there we go. Now it's fixed. Convertible poly, W, go to your hierarchy menu, Alt A on the actual strut, on the actual metal ring, sorry. Pivot, yep. And what we're gonna do is copy this, rotate 45 degrees, and copy it multiple times. 8 times, I got an extra copy here, boom, done, so it's gonna be 7. Just make sure everything is glued to the actual piece, perfect. Hide these two, grab all of these, and copy them to the bottom. Good, I'm gonna grab all of these, and as well, I'm gonna also attach them as one single object. Good, and now we're gonna do the handles. Oh, I need to actually remove. Where's my front view? Front view, okay, I'm gonna go to the side. So these two have to go. There we go. Just so I can have some space to create my actual elements. So here we're gonna go with the box. It's a little bit fatter here. Good, I'm just gonna add a few things. So one, I'm gonna delete this piece, we're not gonna see it, and this piece, we're not gonna see it. Create some subdivisions just to create a bit more geometry on it. And we're gonna subdivide it inside of Zbrush. There we go. Okay, maybe not that much on the sides. I do want it to kind of bump and curve a little bit, just like that. Perfect. Alright, we're gonna UV wrap this, unwrap this, sorry. Open UV editor, grab it all. Let's see if relax helps it out completely or not. It does. Perfect. Actually, it does not. My seams are here. I need to unfold this. Let's see. Top piece, alright. Let's grab these edges. Stitch, stitch, stitch. Now it is. This will go here. Alright, now we're going to create the ring. So again, another cylinder. It's a little bit too big compared to the mug. I want it to be a bit smaller. There we go, that's good. Convert to editable poly. Grab the top piece. Delete, delete, and we're going to grab these edges. Close them up. Just like so. Grab this, scale it up a bit, grab these two as well, and scale them up a bit just to create a bit of a rounded surface. Unwrap this. So in this case, I can see that there's a few edges here, a few seams that have been created. So what I like to do is just felt map first, start and stop it, and then create a new seam. I'm going to create it right here. There we go. And now again, start pelt, commit, tools, relax, and go all the way up. Perfect. This one will go here. Convert that to poly and copy this down. Great. Alright, now we're going to work on the actual wooden handle. So I like to use a spline for this one. So I'm just going to create there we go. Right click, make sure they are smooth, and just try to get this to the center if you can, like somewhere here. It will help the actual size when we're going to be scaling this up a little bit better. I want this one here, and this one a little bit further down. Good. And keep it straight. Enable, enable, and increase the thickness until you're able to completely envelop the cylinder. Just like so. A little bit too thick, so that works. I also want to change a few things right now, so convert to editable poly, grab this, scale it down. There we go. I'm going to move these up a little bit with everything here. And this one I'm going to move it down. Grab these struts and grab my 5 for my elements and just put them down. Great. Looks a lot better now. Alright. So I need to copy a few things here. Delete, delete. Grab, grab, copy. There we go. Let me make sure everything is set the way it's supposed to. Great. Now for this one we have to delete the two polygons, because when you create a spline and then you create a thickness, it creates two triangles here on one of the sides, and that's very bad. So what we want to do here is scale in, weld, do the same on the top, scale in, weld. That's it. Now we have to unwrap this. So UV unwrap. I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, this entire piece. Break, tools, relax, polygon, there we go. That's one. Next. Break, relax. There we go, then we have to create a seam. So thanks to Jaudat and my other student Mark, which suggested the point-to-point seam. So they're gonna get a nice plus if they watch this. Oop. There we go, so I created a seam. And I'm gonna take this entire piece and pelt map it, relax it. Maybe edge angles. There we go. So these will have to go here. Try to separate everything because I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. Perfect. I'm going to select everything. We're done with the modeling. Turbo Smooth just to help out Zbrush a little bit more. Convertible poly. And now we're going to grab everything again. Unwrap. Show the UV editor, and this is why. We want everything to be separated. So what I like to do here first is grab the islands, grab your polygons, move things a bit away from each other. Make sure nothing is glued, so here. And select the entire thing, and tools, rescale cluster, and now everything is the even sides. This will go here. This will go here. All of these will have to come down. And now I can work fully inside of this view. So that's the cylinder, make sure it's straight. So these don't have to be that large, I can actually scale them down a bit more. Not that much though. I'm just organizing everything so I can fit everything into one single place, and that's the point. So this was what? The struts. Okay, the struts can be on their own little island here. This was the top. This stays here. There we go. I'm gonna scale this up a little bit here so I can get some more details on the actual cup and these as well. There we go. We have everything UV'd and ready. So just to make sure, just in case you want to make sure if everything is set properly, so let me just right click, convert to editable poly, create a new material, a normal scanline material, like whatever you want here. You'll be fine. Standard, I'm going to create a diffuse, bitmap, sorry, not bitmap, sorry, diffuse and checkered. Checkered, and I'm going to put the material on everything. There we go, so check everything out, everything is even. This is not very even, I don't like it that much, so we're gonna try to fix that as well. So this seems to be a little bit off. It's because it's completely rotated, that's bad. Ooh, no, wrong one. It's not letting me. Alright, well, we're gonna have to keep it that way. It's gonna be fine. I can fix it later if I can just cut it up and everything. It'll be fine. If I can cut it in 3 pieces and then just stitch them together, it will work. But I'd rather not do that right now. So let's move forward to Zbrush. So everything here is set. I'm happy with them. I can delete this material. Convert to poly on everything. Alright, so select everything. File. Let me actually name certain things here. So this is mug underscore base. Sorry, this is mug underscore main, mug underscore base. These can be attached. And these can be attached. And these can be attached. Good, so here it's mug underscore handle underscore let's just call it metal support. Mug underscore metal ring support. These are rings. Struts. Anything else I missed? Nope, we're good. Alright, so now we're gonna grab everything. File, export, export selected. Desktop, I like to create a new file. And we're gonna call it fine. So here's gonna be low polygon mug. Take off the camera, take off the lights, we don't really need them. Yeah, the texture is checkered, so it's not gonna take it. And now we're gonna open Zbrush. Alright, so now that Zbrush is open, I'm gonna import my tool. Desktop, new folder 4. Sorry, it's called new folder 4. That's fine. So we're gonna import this as an FBX, wait for it to completely load in, and we are good. Click and drag. There we go, edit, and now we're set. So let's start with the base. So the base is at 937. In total, the entire cup is 12,000 polygons. Now, what we want to do here is start increasing subdivisions by a lot. Now, do not dynamesh unless you're willing to retopologize after you dynameshed. So typically when you want to create something, don't do it low polygon in 3ds Max if you're going to dynamesh it inside of Zbrush. You're going to lose the UVs, you're going to lose a lot of things. Now, preferably if you want to start modeling in Zbrush, then you can dynamesh all you want, and then you can actually retopologize in Maya or decimate inside of Zbrush, which we'll explain in another video later on, so don't worry. So I'm at 940,000, that should be enough. I'm gonna grab a nice little brush here. One of my students gave me a really cool one. It was specific for metals. Where was it? Well, I'll just re-import it, that's fine. There it is. And it was called Hammer Metal. It's really, really cool. It's a little bit too unintense. There we go. I want to create a bit more of an edge here, so I'm going to take my trim dynamic, just help it out a little bit. It's a little bit too much help. Alright, it's good enough. Now go for the cup. Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. One more time. 2 million. Should be okay. Let's see if I have any alphas that can help me out here. We're gonna use this one. BTS for dam standard brush. Alpha, we're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab it as a drag rectangle, and let's see if this will help us. A little bit too strong. Should be okay. If you notice, I'm not using symmetry for one reason, because I like the asymmetrical side of Zbrush. I don't want everything to look the same on one side and the same on the other. I like to have a bit of differences between them, and that's stylized. A little bit too strong, so let me just smooth them out a little bit here. Oops. So BTD, I'm gonna go for a free-handed alpha off. Just fix this up. It kind of got ruined as I was working on the lines. I should have just paid attention to that. That's fine. There we go. Now I want to get some of the lines. So BDS, remove this, grab the freehand. This is where we're going to work a little bit more on these. It's a bit too strong. Just adding these little details, and that should be it. And now over here, so I'm trying to brush as much as possible, so I'm sorry if this is going a bit fast, but I mean, I can't just keep doing it for 2 hours on a video. I'd rather not. I'm just trying to do as fast as possible and as precise as possible, just for your tutorial viewing. Actually, I'm gonna grab an alpha here. I'm gonna grab, where are you? This one. Sorry for my phone. There we go. That's done. Now for these, the struts, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. Alright, we're gonna try to make this as a radial thing. We're just gonna do them one by one. Yeah, one by one is gonna be fine. Here we go, almost done. Okay, we're done here. These, Control D a few times. B, and I like the orb hammer for this one. Same as the bottom. Of course, you can go as detailed as you like here. It's not, you don't have to follow me perfectly. Control D on this one a few times as well with the hammer. Here, Control D a few times as well. Oh, I need much more than that. There we go. Control D. I'm gonna go in the center pieces first, so I'm gonna go BDS, the same exact one I used before for that. And I need to isolate this piece. For that. Sorry about that, my alarm. And now I'm gonna create, what was it, alpha, here we go. I'm going a little bit faster, I'm not really paying attention that much, but I just need to get the actual product done. make sure I smooth things out a bit. Don't want it to look too cheap. There we go, so top, everything's fine, everything's good, bottom, everything's okay. Perfect. Now, what you're going to do here, so we're done, let's say we're done with your high definition model. You can keep doing whatever you want to do here. It's at 9 million, so that's a bit high. So what I'm going to do is reduce a little bit on this one. I need to reduce a little bit in certain places. So delete higher, this one, delete higher. If I feel like the details are not completely gone, I'm happy. I mean, because my computer needs a little bit of help. There we go, it's not a really new, brand new computer. So what I'm going to do first is actually save this file just in case it crashes while I'm exporting. So save as a ZPR. Desktop, it wasn't project 4, Zbrush project mug. Hi. Poly, just save it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is actually go into my subtools, go all the way to the top, grab the merge, merge down, and I'm going to merge everything into one single piece. So one single piece, yes, confirmed. I'm going to export this now. New folder, muck base, hi poly. Can do it as an FBX as well, save. Everything is good. Yep. And we're going to wait for the export. I'll be right back when it's done exporting. Alright, so we're done. It actually exported perfectly. So let me just make sure everything's set. Okay, good. Now we can close this. And we can open Substance Painter. So this will kind of be also a smaller introduction to Substance Painter. So I'm just going to let it load up. And I'll be right back when it loads up. Okay, so here we go. So at first you're going to understand that there's 3 views. So you have F1, which is basically 3D view on the left, your UV on the right, F2, which is just a 3D view, and F3 just a UV view. Okay, so F1, 2, F3. Typically I like to work on F1 or straight on F2 on the actual mesh itself. On the bottom you have everything you need. You have your alphas, you have your little grunges, basically just like certain kind of alphas as well, procedural maps, textures, filters, brushes, and we're going to be using the most is the materials and the smart material. Okay, all of these can be found on their website and you can download them for free, whatever you want. They have a gigantic library, it's awesome. So what we're going to do here is start creating the new file. So file, new, it asks me your mesh, no mesh selected, so I'm going to select the low polygon cup. Good. And it's going to be a document resolution of 2048, everything's okay, and say okay. So this is loaded up with its UV. Perfect. Next, I need to get all the maps on this. Alright, so all the normal maps and everything has to be created. So we're going to go into viewer settings right here. Okay, we're going to go into, texture settings right here. Texture set settings, and you're going to look for bake textures. I'm going to remove the ID because I don't need that specific map. Output size, I'm going to put it 2048. Very important. Next, your high definition meshes. This is where we're going to import our high definition mesh. And here you have a small little folder. So click on the folder and get the high. Which one was the OBJ? Oh, sorry, not this one. Here. Crap. Alright, be right back. Let me just, it didn't export properly. Alright, and we're back. Sorry, it didn't export properly for some reason. I think I went for an OBJ when I'm supposed to do it FBX. So here it is. So again, you click on this little one, and we're gonna go with this muck base. There we go. And what else? We remove the ID. We don't want the ID. And that's it. So big normals. It's gonna take a bit of time, so let it just work itself out. So I'll be back when this is done. And here we are. So basic navigation, scroll in, scroll out to zoom in, zoom out. Alt left click to rotate. Alt middle click on the scroll wheel button will allow you to pan the view. So now we're gonna start working on texturing. So let's remove the video settings. I don't want them. This is the layers. This is what I want. So we don't need this at all anymore. We're just gonna focus on the layers here. So first things first, you have to understand it works exactly like Photoshop. So the higher the layer is, the more priority it has. So the top layer will always have priority over everything else. So let's start here with the wood in the middle. So I know this is going to be the one I'm going to be working with. So materials, let's go down and see if there's any kind of good type of wood. I do not see any, so what we're going to do is import one. I actually downloaded one yesterday. If I can remember where it was. Stylized wood plank. So it should be here somewhere. Stylized wood plank. Alright, let's just do it again. Oh, actually, wait, I do have it on my other folder. There we go. Stylized wood plank. So what I'm going to do here is create a new material. So create a subshelf. No, we don't want that. Save a new shelf. No, we don't want that. We want to import a resource. And I'm going to add the resource. I'm going to add these. And what else are we going to do? Undefined. I want it to be a base material. And I want it to be in the current session. Import. Here it is. So let it load up. It won't probably, so let's just put it in. There we go. So if you notice, it did it on everything. And that's the thing you have to remember. This, even though I don't need this layer, this wood will go on everything. Okay? So what we're going to do here is right click it and say add a black mask. And this is where we're going to paint with polygon. So on the top left you have your brush, you have your eraser, and here you have polygon fill. And this will allow me to paint, click select, specific areas that I want to actually have textured. So here, these. So let's just make sure everything is set. Perfect. Beautiful. Alright, and we have the handle as well. So this is the handle as well here. And that's it. This is the wood done. It's exactly what I needed to be, only wood. Now, we also have metals. So I would like a nice little metal here. Not aluminium, not gold, not copper. I want something that is not shiny. I want something that is galvanized maybe and grainy, grinted. Iron hammered. Oh, cool. So iron hammered. There we go. It looks pretty cool on everything here. Very nice. I like the struts to be a bit different. So still, I'm gonna mask this area around. So I'm gonna grab the bottom piece, not the struts. Not the top piece as well. Oh, these are the end pieces. Alright, this we're gonna have to fix now. So we can go back to here. Fill up the wood for these. Not for those. These I think I'm gonna do them copper or gold. So gold, and I want to add a black mask. There we go. The iron hammer, did it grab on these? I don't know if it did. No, it did not. Okay, great. So here we go. And on the top, I'm going to create a new fill layer. So over here, you have add layer and add a fill layer. So the fill layer is going to go on the top. There we go. And I want it to be a No metalness, no roughness, no normal, no height, just the color. And I'm gonna change the color to a blue. Like so. And I also want to add a black mask and just give it to the, not the struts, to the top piece right here. There we go. And I also want to create a new material. So I want a new layer. Add a layer, so I'm gonna call this one dust. So we go to our smart materials on the bottom, and I have here dirt, dust. So I'm gonna go with dirt. There we go. It's very, very strong. So the dirt base here, we can go into it, just like a normal effect. Inside of Photoshop, we can do something here. So I don't want the metalness or the roughness. I do want the roughness. No, no roughness. No normal, no height, just the color. And I would like the hardness to be a little bit less than that. Okay, and I would like, what else here? Everything's fine. Let's see the grain. The scale is a bit too strong, so I'm gonna reduce it down to like a very zero something point something. The gradient is fine. I like the colors. Okay, and now we have to actually create a... Oh, this is the wrong layer, sorry. Dirt, we're going to create a black mask on it as well. And now we can start painting. So scale up and scale down with your bracket keys, just like Photoshop. So I want my brush here, settings. Size, flow, I need to reduce the flow. I want to be able to control how much of the dust I'm placing. So I'm going to put a little bit here, a little bit here. A lot on the wood. I want it to look dirty. So without this, with this, nice, looking good. On these as well. And on the bottom piece, just a little bit. Let's see, do we have anything else that could look good? Steel, silver armor, no. Aluminum, I think we're done. So this is done. I'm happy with the textures, I'm happy with the way it looks. All good. Now we're gonna go File. We're gonna export the textures. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna show you a plugin that actually belongs to Substance. It's a Substance Painter 2 V-Ray. It's actually pretty awesome. A desktop. Here, I'm gonna create a new folder just for this. So, mug textures. Select the folder, and I'm gonna make sure that my configuration here is for V-Ray. Right here. And check all the materials here: diffuse, reflection, glossiness, IOR, normal, height, emissive, perfect, 2048 by 2048, everything is good, and export. Might give you a small little error, not really, like just something that's a small warning, which is fine. This is done. So I'm gonna close everything up here. Or I'm gonna save it as well. Can close this up. And we can go back to 3ds Max. So now I have this entire mug. I'm gonna open my script. So run script, I'm gonna make sure this is in the description for the video, so don't worry. I'm also gonna open my material here, my slate material. Make sure my render is on V-Ray. So there we go. Whichever version of V-Ray you have, it's fine. So here we're gonna choose a folder where my materials were. So desktop, they were on new folder 4. Open it. Go to mug texture, say OK, and create shaders right here. And it will create everything, a shader here perfectly. I'll also link the reference to where I got this idea from another video of YouTube. It was really, really helpful. So all of these are fine. Good, so I'm gonna select everything here and click and drag the mug, assign to selection, and let's see it. Perfect. So everything that is black is reflection, so be careful, don't get confused, don't get irritated by that. Everything there is gonna be like so. So what we're gonna do here is also set up everything. So I like to make a little bit of a scene here. Small little backdrop. Create a new material for this. There we go. So diffuse color, I'm gonna change it to a maybe a dark brownish. Or maybe a blue. Something like so. I'm also gonna go scripting because for some reason my Max doesn't come with the Vray cam, so or my Vray doesn't come with it, so I use a small script to be able to get it where I want it to be and get some lights here. Let's see the first render how it looks. Looking good. I mean the details are there, the gold, everything, the reflections, perfect. So what I'd like to do here as well, honestly since I'm done, is create a very quick cylinder in the center of this. There we go. I like to add a few no height segments, noise. Okay, turbo smooth this, convert it all poly. Awesome, and I'm gonna make sure that this has a new material, Vray, Vray material, reflect a little bit, remove Fresnel reflection, refract a lot, exit color blue, and fog color blue. And I'm also gonna create a copy of this right here, hide it, and this one is gonna be Vray light type. I want it to be a mesh. There we go, and I want it to be a bit blue as well. Unhide all. It's a little bit too blue here. Nice. The fog color is a bit too strong maybe on this one. Looks good. Maybe just a tiny bit more on this one. Maybe a 60 would do. And I'm gonna also zoom in a little bit more on the asset. and let it finish rendering. So I'll be back when it's done. And here we have the final result of the actual render. Now I did scale it up to 2000 by 2000 just to get a better resolution for it, but it looks pretty good. So in this series for Substance Painter, Zbrush, and Maya, it's just to learn how the workflow happens for game assets like these. Now this entire object is actually a pretty low polygon one. Sorry, got interrupted. So this entire series will be about how to create game assets like these. And again, this object right here. So if we check out without having this, and all the assets together, the cup is actually 12,000 vertices or 11,000 polygons. So translate that into triangles. So 12,000, that's 24,000 triangles for a game engine. That's pretty good. And it has the details of a 4 million polygon cup. So that's how we're going to translate everything for this series. We're going to go from small little cups to small little assets and then build an entire environment in a room with this actual process. And it's just the way the workflow of the industry works. And I hope this series was fun and I hope you like this. I'm going to have everything in the description, such as the actual tools I used, such as the scripts and stuff like that. And if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.